What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra. And as we anxiously await the world premiere of the biographical film of her life, titled Christy, starring the talented Sydney Sweeney, opening on November 7th, today you'll hear from the woman herself. Please welcome the incredible, the trailblazer, the icon, Christy, the coal miner's daughter, Martin.
How are you?
Welcome to our show. Welcome to our podcast once again. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys for having me.
How you doing?
Oh, flying around, doing crazy stuff. The good thing is I keep telling these movie people, thank goodness I kind of have been through this before with Don King and Mike Tyson pay-per-views and all that, promotion, and you're here one day, you're someplace else the next day. Otherwise, I would have been just overwhelmed. I wouldn't know what to think. It did prepare me for this. The travel, the media, a little boxing has definitely prepared me.
You are a true legend of the sport. You have taken women's boxing seriously before it became a trend. It's, right now it's on this uphill climb, but you've been there from the forefront. You're a Hall of Famer, a champion. You call yourself the ultimate warrior, the ultimate underdog, excuse me,
Yes.
and a survivor who has changed the game. When you're talking about doing these junkets and this whole Hollywood press tour, it's a little different from, training for a world title fight, but you are the forefront of not just because of your boxing, but it's encompassing your whole life. How do you feel about all of that?
Thank goodness, as I said, I have been through it with boxing. It prepared me for this, but there's a little different aspect that now each and every stop, I'm reliving some pretty bad stuff that happened and remembering, just recalling all that happened and how it happened and watching the movie in different cities. It's hard. Honestly, I would be lying if I said, "Oh, it's easy." I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time meeting people because a lot of them are talking about my boxing career and, hey, we were fans way back when, or this is what gets me. Oh, when I was a little kid, I used to watch you box, and now they're all grown up, and I'm like, oh, thank you so much for telling me I'm old.
Well, you just touched upon early in your boxing, because a lot of people who are going to be watching this, they're not going to know anything about you. They're just going to be like, "Oh, she's a boxer. Sydney Sweeney's playing her." But for the people that are not even boxing fans that are going to learn about your life, can you talk about how boxing first came into your life?
Yeah, so I didn't grow up. I am a coal miner's daughter, small town, Southern West Virginia, all those things. But I never grew up thinking I want to be a boxer. I don't think that that was ever even a tiny little thought. But with my boxing career, I started in the tough man contest while I was in college just because I wanted to. And then one thing led to another. Um, End up getting a call from Bristol, Tennessee from a promoter, moving down there thinking I'm just going to be here for a few months and kind of have some fun and go back and get a teaching job. Uh, and it took a turn, a crazy turn. And boxing became a career and my life. Um, Ended up signing with Don King, who definitely at that time was the world's greatest promoter. I think he was the world's greatest promoter because honestly, I don't think there's a good promoter today. I think we have good fights and we have big fights, but do we have a promoter that people know and they're like, oh, if so and so's doing it, because we see them, like with DK, you would see him. He would be out there with the people and selling the product. Now the big fights kind of sell themselves, and we're not really building, I don't think we're not building young fighters. All of a sudden they're on, so and so's on pay-per-view, and we don't really know their backstory. But back in the day, if you think about it, we saw young fighters on ESPN, on USA, all these different networks, and then they grew in and graduated to pay-per-view shows. And that was because of promoters like Don King.
Mm.
Well,
Listening to you discuss Don King, there's always a discussion among working with him in today's era, knowing what we know about him and his history and the whole Mike Tyson thing. What is something you can say about Don King that will probably blow people's minds, and that commentary of why do people still work with him?
Um, you know what? I don't know that I can say something that why do people still work with him? He's complicated. You know, he obviously gave me a platform that no one else, no other promoter was willing to do. He gave me an avenue to further my boxing career. No other promoter was even considering that. Um, but is he complicated? You know, all the good stuff he does, he does some crazy negative stuff? Absolutely. But yeah, I can't, nope, I don't have that sentence that's going to make everybody think, oh wow, he's really probably not a bad guy. I don't have that.
I mean, with Don King, you just mentioned you said he was the greatest promoter. He was the one that put you as the co-main event to Mike Tyson versus Frank Bruno. And it became the best fight, in my opinion, the best fight of women's boxing. I mean, maybe up to now, because you told me, what's her name, Taylor and Serrano, but you're still up there against Deirdre Gogarty. The bloodiest fight I think I've ever seen for a female boxer at that time.
Well, at that time,
At
that
that
was
time.
that I would tell Deirdre Gogarty that, we were the fight that changed the way people saw boxing until Taylor Serrano won happened in Madison Square Garden, selling out the garden. And that night I called Deirdre and told her we're number two now. And now we maybe have even fallen to 3 or 4 because all those Taylor Serrano fights were so powerful and have such a big impact on how people see women's boxing. And, like we got great exposure fighting under Mike Tyson. They got that same plus fighting under Jake Paul. And then they put on a performance worthy of that position. And then Amanda Serrano got cut really bad, and she was pretty bloody that fight. One of those, I think that was the second one. The second fight, yeah, she made a statement too. Hey, we can fight if we're bleeding. We can fight if we're cut. We're injured. But we still can do this.
Maybe we need to start beating the drum that Mike Tyson is like the catalyst for women's boxing, of really like
Yeah.
propelling it into the universe.
Mhm.
And you know what? That might be something to that because Tyson could have stopped it all with my career if he wasn't happy with me being on the undercard. But he was supportive always and still seems to be supportive, or I think he's supportive of me. And then to be part of that Jake Paul, Mike Tyson show, he was right there, supporting Taylor Serrano. So yeah, Mike's another complicated individual.
Absolutely, as we all are, as we all are.
Yes.
I want to go back to what you mentioned at the top of the show, and talking about reliving these moments over and over. I've had the privilege of seeing your film. It is marvelous. It is marvelous. Sydney Sweeney did an incredible job, and it is very, some very dark and haunting things have happened to you. So, how have you, during the course of this press run, sort of prioritize your mental health, reliving these things? What have you done to for yourself to unplug? Have you worked with someone? How are you keeping yourself healthy mentally, reliving this over and over and talking about it over and over?
It's tough. And I do have a counselor that actually now I think of more as a friend. And I reach out to her sometimes. She's in North Carolina. And I just try to, I actually, a couple places that I've been for the movie, I just show up for the Q&A. I don't actually sit through the movie again. It's hard. Like we just recently though, I was in Orlando, Florida. Those are my people. And so I wanted to sit there with them. And someone asked me afterwards, um, how can you sit here? And I'm like, because you guys are my people and you didn't run out on me and I'm not going to run out on you. And I
Mm.
felt like it was important for me to sit through it with them and then afterwards answer any questions that they had. So I'm going to sit through it in West Virginia. I will be in West Virginia November 7th, opening night to be with my people. We have over 450 people already committed to being there, which is pretty awesome. And then tomorrow night is the opening here, the real big premiere in LA.
Mm.
Meeting.
I wish I could come.
Yeah.
I know. I know. You know, when you talk about because your story, I remember I told you I did the VH1 true crime story on you, and doing my homework and like reliving everything that I spoke about and listening to your story from your own mouth of what happened, it's crazy because we see this lady who's just a boxer who became one of the most well-known boxers, and at that time you know, did it feel empowering for you? Were you isolated because you couldn't really turn to anyone else that didn't know what was going on, especially in that time when you were so well known? And Jim was your husband, trainer, manager. He was everything to you, your protector.
And that was right, and that was part of it. And but that's part of what they do, the isolation that I felt. And as I say, the brighter my star started to shine back in the 90s, the tighter his grip got. Because now when he threatens that he's going to say this or do this, it's a bigger threat to me because I loved boxing. I loved what I did, and I didn't want to jeopardize losing that support or the opportunity. I mean, if he would have gone to Don King and said, "Oh, she's gay or she's doing cocaine or she's this or that," what would King have done? Maybe he would have just stopped fighting me, and then my career would be over, and all this hard work and the love for what I did will be gone.
With thinking about reflecting on that, how he tried so hard to diminish your star, now being back thrust in the spotlight, you're never far removed because people who enjoy boxing, you're going to come up in the algorithm at some point as a trailblazer. Do you find it hard stepping back into this spotlight like this? Is it difficult, or not so much of talking about the story, but just having that spotlight so brightly upon you again?
It's really funny because I don't feel like it. Ooh, that's my little buddy. Hey, I don't feel I don't really feel like I'm in the spotlight. I feel like this is Sydney Sweeney show, and everybody wants they're talking to me about Sydney Sweeney and the performance that she put on. Yes, it is my life, and people can, I guess, critique the movie story or how it was presented. Um, yeah, so I don't really feel like I'm in the spotlight. I'm doing a lot of media, but I'm really doing it about the movie. About, hey, it's not about me, is it? I don't know. Good question. I think I'm confused. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's different. When I was a fighter, I was selling meat. Now I don't feel like that. I feel that I'm just pushing people to come out and see this movie, and from this movie take away inspiration, and hopefully, like I said, it's a little path of, if I want to be a boxer, I can do it this way. If I want to be an astronaut, I can do that, because here's a little path that somebody did it that had really didn't have a good path to do it, didn't have a prescripted way, and made their own way. And this is going to help people, I hope, have that. And maybe it's drug addiction, whatever. Look, I got up off the floor and there's nothing special about me.
You did say in your career you were looking for that 50th win, that 50th knockout, and you said it that getting that 50th win was you getting off that floor after you've been stabbed, you've been beaten, you've been shot. That was your 50th win in life.
Absolutely. And it's still hard sometimes for me to accept that I didn't get the 50th win, especially fighting right here in LA. 50 seconds from my 50th win, and the doctor stops the fight because I have a broken hand that had been broken since round number 2. Um, yeah, that's a tough one to swallow, but that's the way it goes. And so I really have worked hard to accept win number 50 came when I got up off the floor and got out of my house, November 23rd, 2010.
Mhm. I have this thing when Cynthia and I talk, we call it our bias goggles. And so, getting ready to talk to you, we wanted to lean more into you. And yes, it is about the film, and the film is amazing. And Sydney is incredible. She's an incredible performer. I've enjoyed her in lots of other things too, besides this. But now looking at one of my favorite things about sitting with you today is we had a clip that went sort of viral on Facebook, and it's Layla Ali talking about you and how you inspired her. People think about her famous father, but it was really you who inspired her to box when Cynthia was interviewing her. When you look at today's group of young ladies, how many do you still continue to have those conversations and people paying homage to you about the path that you set forth for them?
You know, that that's pretty cool about with Layla. It always makes me smile when I hear her say that. And I appreciate like Amanda and Katie, a lot of female fighters that are out there now give me a little credit for opening up the door and the fight ahead with Gogarty on that Mike Tyson show that really got the world the lit the spark, you know, that hey, women can fight too. You know, there's really only one out there that thinks she's the GOAT that doesn't want to give anybody, any of us from the 90s, any any props for what we did to help it make it easier for her. What she forgot or forgets or don't care to understand, women couldn't even box in the Olympics or in the amateurs until the 90s when Don King put me on the pro shows and we started getting some talk. Then the amateurs opened the door for women boxers. Come on. I give credit to the women that came before my generation. Why that one can't give credit to us when we really made it easy for her? I don't get it, but that's okay. My mom told me if you don't have anything nice to say about people, you shouldn't say anything. So I probably shouldn't have said anything.
We,
Period.
period. You know, we never want to, we're not pot stirrers, us here on our platform. We like to highlight all the positivity. But I'm glad that you said that because it is an important discussion that is happening a lot in social media. You know, there's a lot of conversation about a Layla return, a her fighting the
Yeah.
fighter that you mentioned, Claressa Shields, or in just even what fighters in general are doing. I'm trying to think of like how to ask this without it being like a big thing. So as women continue to evolve, we have a large number of women fighters who are on the MVP platform. We have still Michaela Mayer. There's women who fight for Boxer and some of the other platforms. Is there a way? Is there exist a time where we can all sort of wrap our arms around each other and work together? Is there a space where that could happen? And how do we get there? What is the path of getting there? I don't know. What is the path of putting our arms around each other and getting there as women, period?
Oh, you know how it is. We're women, and it's the hardest people to work together are women, and the hardest
Mm,
people that work for are women. We know that. You know
that's
that.
a fact.
And so, but at the same time, I don't know that we don't all have to get along. We just all have to keep doing what we do. And I mean, put on good shows, fight hard. And, you know, if so and so is your promoter, great. Do your best on their shows. And then over here at Jake Paul and MVP, I mean, they're killing it. Come on, they're giving women an opportunity and they're getting paid. So
Mhm.
those women need to just take advantage of it, fight as much as they can, keep putting on good shows so that more women will get involved in the sport and more fans will start to come to the sport. That's the whole thing, you know. There hasn't been a deep enough talent pool really ever to build the interest in big fights. We could build the interest in one fight that we want to see, but we need to have fights, all kinds of fights, different weight classes. Um, yeah, so we're not just like waiting on this one fight. Like in the 90s, I feel like the fans wanted to see Martin Riker and Riker just never would sign. And then it got signed and she pulled out the week of the fight. So, but that was the fight. It was never like two other fighters that were out there that people talked about and wanted to see. So
Mhm.
that's it. Just as the talent pool needs to grow. And that's what we have to do is just keep putting on good fights, keep getting younger female fighters coming into the sport and Jake Paul has to just keep putting them out there.
Mhm.
I mean, with all that stuff that Clarissa and then Layla Ali chiming in, um, and Wolf chimed in. I think she's gonna start a podcast because she has some things to say. I'm not exactly sure. Christy Martin, you can come back out. I mean, it's open.
Look, trust me,
All the
Lee,
trailblazers are wanting to fight again.
I
Show these
would
ladies
definitely,
something.
absolutely. But I had a stroke actually after
I
that
know.
fight in
Yeah.
LA, and I have been offered some pretty substantial paydays, but Lisa says no.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we might hide her for a minute and if the number got big enough.
What about if we could get the fight and have you be the referee for the fight? You know how WWE does the thing where it's like a big fight, and they get another
Right.
wrestler who's involved to be the referee.
That's right.
Would you consider being a referee for women's boxing? Because who better
Yeah.
and who would know what to really watch? And really, I would trust your perspective more than about 95% of these ring referees that are working right now, male or female. Can we beat that drum?
Yeah, well, I never thought about that, but
That or a judge.
yeah.
Even better.
You know, yeah, I mean, judging, usually when if I watch a really big fight, especially, or a fight that I know, well, this is the truth. If we watch a fight where Lisa wants to pick one person and I want the other person, I definitely do judge it. But I just like to sit back and enjoy the fights and
Yeah.
not so much and hope somebody gets knocked out. And that way that we don't have to argue over, oh, but fighter A won and somebody else says no, fighter B won. And yeah, just somebody needs to knock somebody out. That way there's no controversy.
Well,
For sure.
you and Lisa, obviously, because I've talked to you about it before. Like, have you guys ever talked about the fight and who do you think really won in that actual fight? Have you guys ever thought maybe like an exhibition rematch
Well, so
between you and Lisa?
somebody talked about that, and she said we could do that because she wouldn't hit me, knowing that I had the stroke. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't work, and I wouldn't want to do it, but it would be interesting. I mean, can you imagine? We could probably make a lot of money.
Yeah,
But
especially like charity for domestic abuse and just
yeah,
all of the charities that you support. Yeah, okay. Well, real fast, we do something called quick hits before we let you go. Super easy, super fun, super quick. There's no right or wrong answer.
okay.
Okay. Favorite fight of your career?
For me,
Yes.
of oh, the Gogarty fight
Harder battle inside the ring or outside of the ring?
outside, psh, no question.
Fighter, male or female, who you would love to promote under Christy Martin Promotions?
Um, Mike Tyson.
Oh, hey, it's possible. He's fighting. Isn't he fighting Floyd Mayweather? Yeah.
For sure,
Yeah.
I would like to promote him.
Okay, and walkout song that still gets you pumped and hyped going to the ring.
Well, because it's only me. It's the coal miner's daughter. Because when I hear it and like I just know like where I should be when a certain verse comes on, like how close to the ring I'm getting, and like that transformation from Christy, the person, to Christy Martin, the boxer, just comes over me.
There's
So
no song. Do you have a song that you
Christy, I
play?
mean, that's it. The coal miner's daughter.
Oh, the
The
coal miner's
Battle
daughter.
Royale.
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, by the way, happy anniversary to you and Lisa. Very soon. It's going to be 8 years since you guys got married, from what I
Thank
read.
you. Yes,
Is she
yes.
there? Is she on tour with
She,
you? And is Champ
she,
here?
well, you heard Champ bark a little bit ago.
Oh, can you bring
Other
Champ
dog.
out?
Yeah, Champ.
Champ.
Come here, buddy. Come on.
So cute.
Come. Hold on.
He's a
Come on.
star.
Come on. Come on.
He's so sweet. He's like,
Oh,
I need my 5 minutes of fame.
Come on.
absolutely.
They want to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
They want to see my little buddy. He stole the
Oh,
show. So here's Champ.
Hi, Champ.
hi, puppy.
Champ. Look. Here's Champ. Hey.
No, the champ said no. This is not on my rider. Where's
Yes.
my agent?
Hey.
I didn't agree to this.
Yeah.
Does he wear a little
Lisa's over
bow
there, so-
tie?
Oh, he has a
Oh.
pink and white tux. And
Oh,
we just found out they're going to do a prototype of Champ because he's been such a hit on the media tour. They're going to do a prototype with proceeds going to domestic violence awareness.
Oh, that's so cool. See, now you need like an action figure, and then like that be part of the action figure pack.
Right, right. With that champ is the
Or like a
champion.
Funko or something like that.
That's so cute.
That's not a bad idea.
Funko, yeah, credit Jeandra if those things come out.
Mhm.
Oh, Christy Martin, you are always a joy. You are always a pleasure. Jeandra has seen the movie. You bawled, and we know the story. I bawled when I rewatched your VH1
Oh
thing, so
my.
I know I'm going to be bawling when I
Oh.
watch it. Release comes out November 7th, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched like this because I knew when it was coming, and I mean I was no good. I was no good. And that's all I'm going to say, because we want people to watch the whole film. It is absolutely a must watch.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
I
you
really
are
think it's going to make a difference.
yeah, you are an advocate for domestic violence, and you've said together, I want to make sure I get this quote right. Together we can break the cycle of abuse, and you're not alone.
Right.
And that's the thing that you want your movie to resonate.
Absolutely.
Do you have any final words, Christy Martin?
Just I appreciate the support for my boxing career. I appreciate the support for this movie. And anybody that's out there that would like for me to come to do a speaking engagement, ChristyMartin.net. We're working now, doing a lot of different speaking engagements and just talking about domestic violence. Hopefully, we change those lives that I promised God I would.
Amen.
Amen to that. I even wore pink because, pink. Well, it's also my favorite color, but pink.
Right.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go. All right. Well, we want everyone to see Christy when it premieres November 7th, and follow Christy Martin Promotions, ChristyMartin.net. As she just said, she's still creating space for women in boxing. And if you need someone to talk to, reach out to her. If you want her to speak at any of your just anything, just reach out to her. Can you just give people your social?
I'm all over all those. So I'm old, so Facebook is the easiest one, and it's Christy Salters Martin, or Christy Martin Promotions, Christy's Champs. Champ has his own Facebook page. Champ Hollowine Salters, Instagram. We're everywhere. I'm not that hard to find. I don't know all those tags though.
We're gonna link them for sure.
We will link it. We really appreciate your time. We cannot wait to see the movie. Please give our regards to Lisa. Bye, Champ. We think you're so handsome. You should have a pink carpet for him.
Yes,
carpet.
He's been on the red carpet every event. I mean, they ask for him.
You need an agent. You need an agent now.
Yeah, he needs an agent, no doubt.
There is no free pictures, no free publicity anymore.
Right.
And a brand deal with the healthy dog food that they say have on Instagram. Give him a brand deal for sure.
We're on it. Cool.
All right, Christy Martin, thank you again. We appreciate your time. I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LaBeouf.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the best women's boxing show, period. See you guys at the fights. Bye, guys.